We are watching the. What am I watching? Society has no reward for following the rules anymore. Yeah, you're right. You can follow the rules as much as you want, but that doesn't get you nowhere. It's just that's it. I mean, break the rules that can get you in prison if you get caught. With that, get straight
For
into it.
young men anymore. There are like endless amounts of charts that show that things are going pretty fucking badly for guys in their 30s relative to any other generation. Home ownership
Oof.
of like people that are
Oh yeah,
30s now compared to
yeah. You can't own a home. You used to be able to have one job and be able to buy a car. Buy it, not take out a loan for it. Buy it. You can't buy a car now. Like the fuck what do you think this shit is? It's not life, that's for sure. This is bullshit.
30s of other generations before. It's just like a fraction of the amount.
So look, percentage, estimate percentage of 30-year-olds who are both married and homeowners. Year percentage. 30 years old. 50% of people had homes. They could just buy a home. Home owners. Not like renting, no. Owning a home. 50. They got better 1960, and then all of a sudden it just started going down. Started going down. 1990, it's like, oh, maybe we'll slow down. No, we're not gonna slow down whatsoever. No one owns a home anymore. And if you do, you're lucky. You're one lucky ass motherfucker. You're in that position.
People that are in their 30s that actually own a home now. This will be even worse for Zoomers. Let's not, let's not play any games here. Like, this is going to be worse for Zoomers. All of the bullshit, all of the, the bad outcomes that millennial.
If things don't change for the better, we're not gonna have a society. Like, there's gonna be crime. You're not gonna be able to stop the crime because no one's gonna care. You want me to not break the rules? Well, I want to own a home. I want to be able to travel. You can't do that in today's society because you just don't make enough money. You can't work you can't work a simple job and not slave yourself away to a job or two and be able to make it. You have to be a slave or else you can't fucking do shit.
Also saying Zoomers are going to see, but even worse. There's always been this social contract, which has always been given to young men, at least in first world countries. You, a young man, probably don't want to wake up early. You don't really want to go to school, college, study, do all this bullshit. But if you do this for a long enough time, you get to have the nice white picket fence lifestyle. Think about home.
I mean, maybe that was true at one point, but no, it's not true anymore. You can go to college all you want. Like, unless you're doing something that will benefit you, then you can't, it won't get you anything. The only thing that in my head will get you somewhere is probably a degree in like being a doctor or a nurse or some shit. And even that, even nurses are like fucking they can't really enjoy themselves with the money they make. What's another thing? AI development. That's another job that you could probably get a degree for it and be able to get a nice job if they hire you. That is because in a couple weeks ago, I found out that jobs literally hide job applications and make it so only people from other countries see it, so they don't have to hire Americans. And then the person from the other country, the job's able to get them a H-1B visa and then get them to come to America and then be able to work a job that an American could have worked. But no, they're just like, nah, fuck America.
Right? Homer is a good totem for this, right? The guy wasn't particularly bright, but he kind of just went through the motions. He went to work and, he got his reward, right? Like he's got
You can't have a simple job. I mean, his job was not simple. He was a fucking nuclear whatever engineer thing. But you can't have a simple job like be a FedEx driver and then be paid good enough to have a home. You can't. You could have, maybe, right? If you saved for about 10 years, you could buy a home in your 30s. I was saving, and then all of a sudden FedEx Ground and FedEx Express merged the two. So now I had double the packages. My route was completely fucked because now I had timed packages I had to get to and deliver on time, or else they get mad at me and then I probably get fired. And my day used to be from like I would get to work at 8, leave the station at 9, and then work till around 1 at the earliest, most of the, well, 12 at the earliest, but that's like rare as fuck. 1 at the earliest, average, to 3. And then some days, like, if I felt shit or whatever, I would be going slower and I'd probably get home around 4 or 5. Now, how FedEx is doing it now is how I would have been doing it would be around, I'd be finishing around 5 to 9, which is dog, and no pay increase as well, by the way. They merged the two jobs, gave you extra work, and then kept you at the same fucking pay. And if you asked them for a pay raise, they're like, we can't really give it to you right now. Why not? Then why the fuck are you giving me more work? This is not what I signed up for. And I fucking quit. I left that shit.
A nice house,
Ever since then, I haven't had a fucking stable job. The last job I did was Uber, and then I was like, dude, I have to work for so many hours just to be able to pay my fucking bills. Fuck this shit. I'm done. I'm not working. And to this day, I haven't fucking worked since. It's been 2 months and a half, pretty much. No work. I'm just here. Whatever happens, happens. I'm lucky enough that I live with my parents. If that wasn't a thing, I'd be fucked. I'd be out in the street driving a stolen car at that point because I can't pay for my car. I'm not paying for my car. Eventually, they're gonna fucking tow that shit away. I lost my insurance for it. No longer have insurance on it. Why? Well, like, what the fuck else? What am I gonna do? Be a slave forever? No, that I don't. No, I don't want to fucking work like that.
As family, stay-at-home wife, things are going pretty good. And the funny thing is, right, at the time when The Simpsons was like first made, Homer was supposed to be seen as like a average Joe or like a guy that you would kind of look down upon, right? He wasn't someone that you would think of as aspirational. But now today, in 2025, we look at Homer's lifestyle as pretty fucking good, right? Like this.
He has a wife, kids, a home. He has a car. The wife has a car. And you just deal with it. You just go about your day, have a beer at the end of your work day, and enjoy life. They even had fucking vacations. They would go to fucking, I don't know, go skiing or whatever. It never went according to plan because that's what the show is. But they were able to do that. You can't fucking just take your kids to Disney anymore. That shit's expensive. And Disney, that's not even out of state. You can't fucking take them there.
This guy has actually made it. Like Homer has unironically made it. The guy has a nice big home. He's got a loving family, a stay-at-home wife. He's got pets. Like everything's going well for him, right?
I forgot they have a dog as well.
Relative to like a guy in his 30s today. And this kind of begs the question, which is, what is going to happen to society when people figure out that there's nothing really to.
It's rigged. Once people figure out it's rigged, well, personally, I stopped working. That's what I did. I'm able to do that because I have parents that fucking slave away at their own job. And then they probably get help from my sister, who has a pretty dang good stay-at-home job, doing some random ass fucking nurse bullshit, or giving people Botox or whatever. That's another thing. Be a plastic surgeon as well. That'll get you a lot of fucking money in some cities, because people are retarded.
work for. There's not really a carrot at the end. And this is like a big fucking problem. I know the phrase social contract has got kind of a bad rap because most of the time when people use it, it's used in a way to basically justify some bullshit that they want to do. Like a bad example of the social contract is when people say the social contract is to pay your taxes to get sent to Israel's military. It's like what the fuck? No, a real
What?
social contract is kind of made between old people and young people, which is, the old people, they're not very strong, they're not very, robust, they're kind of fragile, like physically fragile. Like, let's just think in terms of just pure, amoral reality. It's kind of fucking easy to steal from an old person, right? It's kind of fucking
It
easy.
happens way too
You can
fucking
just bash
much.
them over their head, take their wallet, take their phone, and that's that. So society
Yeah,
needs a way to like
that shit happens way too fucking much. Like in some fucking places, holy fucking shit. That's a whole other discussion.
convince young people not to do that. And we're not taking into account any more.
Dog, I'm not fucking doing any illegal shit. Like, any illegal shit that harms other people. I'm sorry, but that's too fucking far. No. Just pirate all you fucking want. What's it called? Hitting old people over the head? Dog, you're going way too fucking far with that shit.
Morality in this. We're just talking
That's like a whole other separate issue.
about just basic, incentive cost analysis here. And the deal that was made between society and young people is no, you shouldn't just steal from the rich old guy because one day you will be a rich old guy and you don't want to live in a society where some thug bashes you over the head and takes your wallet. You don't want to live in that society when you grow up. So, behave, wake up at 7 a.m., go to college, go to work. Probably not going to have a lot of fun, but eventually you'll be the rich old guy that is content. And, this works kind of well. And I think this is kind of like the
I
real
don't
social
like that.
contract
I don't
that
like
is
that
behind
whatsoever.
first world countries. It's when young people kind of abstain from being a total fucking degenerate. They also want to inherit a high trust society when they get old and for their kids, right? Like it makes sense. The problem now is boomers kind of flipped that on its head. Boomers kind of started a lot of the indebting of future generations, which is incredibly fucking dislikable. I don't think I really need to explain why indebting a baby, a fucking baby, into paying off like your social securities, your military, your.
Some people actually fucking did that. Like, some people ruined a baby's How the fuck can a baby have a credit card? Or take out a loan? Like, what the fuck? There's stories of that shit happening. I don't understand how that's even allowed.
Welfare programs is not very likable, but that's what it is. And because boomers have done this so fucking much, it kind of has this cascade effect where it's kind of just created a lot of intergenerational distrust. And more specifically, it means the quality of life for younger generations is by design worse, right? It's not a bug, it's a feature. The idea of the average income trickling up like gradually, it's like and then you have the cost of the average home just to go whoosh up like that.
Yeah.
You see what's happening here, right? Like young people are getting priced out of owning homes. Just general living is just becoming very fucking costly to where if you just want to average like dignified life,
It's impossible to have fun and have a life. If you have no fun, you don't have a life. You're just a drone. You're just a thing that gets a job done. That's it. I don't want that existence.
you got to spend a lot of fucking money, right? And this is if you follow the rules. If you get a college degree, that doesn't really matter much now, right? Yeah, it's only a marginal increase on your wages on average. So all of this kind of like begs the question, which is like, why would he bother? Like, what's the point in going along with all of these rules that old people made up? Like, why go along with it? And there isn't really a great answer, right? And I think this is why there's been so much young people just kind of checking out of society. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, a lot of really smart people are checking out of society. How many nerds are just like wasting away in Discord, playing games, not really doing much, not really doing much, not certainly not like not trying to aspire to something like previous generations were.
Because it's become way too hard. Like there's it used to be something where you could make an app. You could become smart enough to code. You can make a simple app and it makes you millions. Everyone can do that. AI can do that now. It's going to get to the point where you can't really do anything to get money. And people give me shit over it, but like that's where some parts of socialism is good. I don't mean and communism. I don't mean that like, oh, there's a boat over there, let me just write it because it's our boat. No, it's fucking retarded. There should be some different system. It shouldn't be money anymore. We need to start moving away from money. Because if we don't, then no one's going to want to do anything. No one's going to want to work because you're not being paid enough.
That's a bit of a fucking problem. When the brightest and most talented intellectuals of your society are kind of just checking out and being degenerate, that's an issue. That is a big
Yeah,
issue
big issue.
because these are people that are going to carry your society or would carry your society. People.
People that literally are the foundations of society. If you don't have FedEx workers working, you don't have a FedEx. If you don't have McDonald's burger flippers, you're not gonna have McDonald's. Now you can replace them all with robots, but then what the fuck do you do for the people? You're just gonna let them die, kill them off? Well, for one, they're not gonna die off easy. People don't want to just die. They will, suicide rates are up and all that shit. But they don't just want to die and give up. And you're in a body. You know this is real. You don't want to take the chance that maybe there's a heaven. And even if there is a heaven, is killing myself gonna get me there? If you don't have that train of thought when you're like thinking about killing yourself, you're retarded. I'm sorry. But people don't want to fucking die.
That would be engineers.
And people eventually, if they figure out, if enough people figure out that it doesn't matter, do you understand the amount of violence that's going to be happening in the world? And not against old people. Like those people are they're just scumbags. Those people are just scumbags. But do you know the amount of people that's just going to go to Walmart and just start robbing the place? Just like, I'm gonna just go in here, get some fucking ice cream, get some fucking meat, uh, some water packs. Alright, I'm out. See ya. That's gonna be a more commonplace type of thing. To the point that people are just gonna be imprisoned over it. Why? Because they can't make enough money for themselves. And they either can't work or they believe that they're just being a slave to society. I don't want to be a slave.
People that would be, inventing shit, people that would be like, doing real, really carrying society, right? They kind of don't really see the point in going along with any of this. That is a big fucking problem. Another thing, like from the perspective
Giant
of
problem.
boomers, like, even if they don't give a shit about, about generations after them, and I suspect they kind of don't.
I mean, bro, if you're rich and you're old, why the fuck would you care? You get to enjoy your life until you die. You get to do whatever the fuck you want, pretty much. If you have enough money. Of course they don't give a fuck. Most of them don't. Or won't.
I mean, well, it's not suspect. I kind of know they don't. But, like, even if that's the case, it's still dangerous for them. Like, do they not realize that if there's a whole group of young.
Bro, there's gonna be a thousand or more fucking Robin Hoods that they're gonna see this nice ass fucking mansion and they may or may not know who the fuck owns it. But bro, what's stopping them from just going in and robbing them? Nothing. The law? Okay, don't get caught. If you get caught, run. Shit's gonna happen, and it's gonna be a gradual thing. All of a sudden, you're gonna snap your finger, and it's hell on earth. I don't want that type of society in the future. I want people to be able to own mansions and shit. But I also want normal people to own a normal home. Be able to have a fucking wife, be able to have kids, a pet or more, and be able to live, pay for food, have a car, and not get fucked over by loans.
Men that have nothing to lose, they don't really care, they don't really have anything to look forward to. Do they not realize that's a bit of an existential danger to them? You know, old people are fucking fragile. You know, if there's a lot of young men that they don't give a shit about morality, they don't give a shit about anything, you know, working towards anything in the future, and you know they have all their capability in the world just to steal your stuff. Do you not see that as a bit of a problem? Do you not see that as a bit of a risk? You know, a bit of an existential risk? Because it is. It absolutely is. Like, there's just no doubt about it. You know, they've kind of fucked themselves over here because now there's like an increasing, growing amount of young men that have no ties to, you know, a wife or family.
When this guy killed the CEO, I didn't see it as a bad thing. I saw it as, bruh, this is just gonna get worse if you don't change the way things are going. I saw this guy as like, he just gave up and did the thing. Just saying. If you just let people give up like that, if you just allow people, if you fuck over someone enough that they want to just give up and maybe do something that may or may not do some initiate some sort of change, more of this guy, I'm not going to say his name for YouTube reasons, but this guy, he's going to multiply. There's going to be more of just him.
They don't really have a tie to a career. You know, they don't give a shit about gatekeepers. They don't give a shit about, you know, respecting them or looking up to their elders. That's a bit of a fucking problem. And like, whether you like it, whether you
To an extent, right? Like, to an extent with the elders, most of the time it's just some old kind, whatever, right? I don't think you should be hitting them over the head and trying to rob them. Take their shit from their house if they have a nice ass mansion or whatever, sure. I mean, don't do that either. We shouldn't be, morals, right? You can't throw away all of your fucking morals. Robbing shit is not a good thing, but it's going to become commonplace if people can't just have a job and work for it. You can't work for it. Bro, like, I, I bought my gaming PC, and it was great because now I have this amazing beast of a machine. I have two nice monitors, one for fucking movies and shit, one for gaming. And I don't need anything else. I don't need any more peripherals. I have my headset. Hopefully it doesn't break. Hopefully my mouse doesn't break. And we're good. And I don't have to buy anything extra for my computer. Yeah, eventually I'd like to upgrade it, but I'll just save up my money because I know if my car breaks down, I need to pay for it. So I'm just doing FedEx not because I had to, because I live with my parents. I was doing FedEx to pay my mom the fucking money that she deserves and be able to buy food here and there. Meanwhile, everything else, or pay my bills and then, maybe splurge on like food, on takeout, and be able to just save money. I saved up money. I saved almost $6,000 in my account at one point. And then the FedEx merge happened, and I was over it. I was like, dude, wait a minute. I won't have a life. I'm working 6 days a week. What the fuck? Eventually, something's gonna click in someone's head and say, this isn't worth it. and give the fuck up.
dislike it, whether you agree with it or disagree with it. This is a big reason why Marxism is kind of like becoming a thing, or there's been a drift away from center left to far left or more extreme left. I think that's a big fucking
And here's the thing about the left and right shit. Like, usually the right's like, well, then get a job. Okay, well, where? What job? I've applied to Walmart how many fucking times? They haven't called me back. What the fuck am I supposed to do? You can't get a job, and especially not a job that will actually support you. So what the fuck's the point? And like, there's a lot of people on the left that talk shit about not being able to support themselves, even though they have a good ass job. They're paying for a good ass home and buying a whole bunch of shit they don't fucking really need. And then the right sees those retards and is like, oh well, I can see obvious fucking issues with how you're living your life. Which fair, you're right. Those people are kind of retarded. What about the people in the middle? Because here's what I'm saying: the loud ones are the retards. The ones in the middle barely fucking say anything.
reason. And the same goes the other way, right? Like center right guys have within the young, like they're like the average like guy on the right within like Gen Z is way far to the right compared to boomers. So like you're kind of like creating extremes on both ends, and the center
Bro, I'm telling you, this shit was manufactured. This left versus right shit, completely fucking manufactured. I've been saying it since 2018. It's full on I knew this shit was happening. I knew it's gonna get worse, and it's not done. It's gonna get even worse. Maybe it'll fucking stabilize. Maybe. We'll see how it goes. But right now, exactly how that's happening, I don't know. I don't know how the fuck you're gonna fix shit.
is kind of bleeding away. Whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, um, I don't know, but I know it's not a good thing for the status quo, right? It's not a good thing if you're just a boomer looking to retire and not get his house firebombed. It's not good then. But like all I can say really is I think boomers have kind of reaped a terrible pact with the devil here, with indebting the young and just trading away liberties, just trading away like any kind of good future that generations after them may have. They've kind of made this pact with the devil, and now they've kind of created a low trust society where they're the most vulnerable. Way like any
I
kind of
went back way
any
too
kind of good
far.
future that generations after them may have. They've kind of made this pact with the devil, and now they've kind of created a low trust society.
Like, these shit being locked away, I feel like that's more of a fucking city issue. I think that's more of a leftist fucking retard mindset. And stuff like that's gonna happen way more. I don't think we have reached the point where there's a right city, like a super right leaning city that's gonna arrest you for the most bullshit of things. Because what comes with here's the thing: right and left can both be authoritarian, right? That's another fucking aspect. You're gonna be there's libertarian, there's authoritarian, then there's left Democrat, right Republican, or something along those lines. But there's an up and down structure to it as well.
Where they're the most vulnerable. So it's a bit of a they kind of hoisted themselves by their own petard, right? I don't really propose any solution to this. I don't think there really is a solution to this. I just think they've just made a pretty bad decision just as a generation. You know that phrase like a society grows great when old men plant trees where they will never sit in its shade. Well, boomers didn't necessarily plant any trees, but they did salt the earth.
Yeah, that gave me fucking goosebumps. That his final line. Yeah, our society has been poisoned over decades. Not just it didn't just happen overnight. It's been a slow fucking poison, and we're just here. So let's see where that takes us.